The Salvatore house never really felt quiet. Even on calm nights, it carried the aftertaste of too many arguments, too many secrets, too many people who kept dying and coming back like it was a hobby. Elena stood near the staircase, listening to Damon in the living room without looking at him. He was pacing, restless, like he had been trapped inside his own skin since the day she turned. "You're doing that thing again," she said. Damon's voice came from the other side of the room, casual enough to be rude. "Breathing, existing, walking on my own floors." Elena turned. His shirt sleeves were pushed up, his hair slightly messier than usual, and he had that look. The one that meant he was about to pretend he did not care. "You're looking for a fight," she said. Damon's mouth twitched. "I'm looking for the reason everyone's pretending tonight is normal." Stefan appeared from the hallway with a glass of water he would never finish, calm and controlled in a way that made Damon look more chaotic just by standing near him. "It is normal," Stefan said. "For us." Damon scoffed. "That's depressing." Elena folded her arms. "What is this about?" Damon stopped pacing long enough to stare at her. His expression softened for a half-second, then hardened again like softness offended him. "I can feel you thinking," he said, "all the time. I can feel you holding back, like you're waiting for me to disappoint you again." Elena's eyes narrowed. "I'm not holding back. I'm trying not to spiral every time you spiral." Stefan's voice stayed low. "Damon." Damon ignored him. He stepped closer to Elena, not threatening, just too close, like he wanted to force her to stay in the moment. "You want honesty," Damon said. "Here it is. You're different now. Everything is different now. And I don't know what you need from me to make it stop feeling like I'm losing you anyway." Elena's throat tightened. She hated that he could do this, cut right through her defences with a truth he barely admitted to himself. "You're not losing me," she said. Damon smiled faintly. "That's not what your face says." Before Elena could answer, the front door opened. Caroline walked in like she owned the place, phone in her hand, eyes sharp, hair perfectly controlled in a way only Caroline Forbes could manage even when the world was falling apart. "We have a problem," she announced. Damon's eyebrows lifted. That's never a sentence that ends well. Caroline ignored him. "It's the grill. There's a rumour." Stefan's expression tightened. What kind of rumour? Caroline's gaze flicked to Elena, then to Damon. The kind that starts in high school and ends with half the town thinking Elena got dumped. Elena blinked. "What?" Caroline held up her phone. "Apparently you were seen at the grill last night, alone, looking upset." Which, okay, yes you were. Then Damon shows up later, with Katherine. The air in the room shifted. Elena's stomach dropped so fast it felt like gravity had changed. Damon's expression went blank. Too blank. Stefan's voice sharpened. "That's not funny." Caroline looked at Damon. "Tell me it's not true." Damon's mouth tightened. "It's not what it sounds like." Elena stared at him. "You were with Katherine." Damon's jaw flexed. He looked annoyed, but there was something underneath it that Elena did not like. A tightness, a hesitation. Stefan stepped forward. "Where is she now?" Damon took a slow breath. "Not here." Caroline's voice went fast, anxious. "Great. Love that. So we have Katherine back in town, stirring up chaos, and Damon doing whatever this is." Elena's eyes stayed locked on Damon. "Why didn't you tell me?" Damon's gaze flicked away, just for a second. That second lasted too long. Elena's voice went quieter. "Damon." His tone turned sharp. "Don't." Stefan's eyes narrowed. "Damon, look at me." Damon looked at Stefan. The moment stretched, silent and loaded. Stefan's voice lowered. "Is something wrong with you?" Damon's smile returned, thin and wrong. "I'm fine." Caroline's face tightened. "That is the least convincing 'I'm fine' you've ever done. And you once said 'I'm fine' while you were literally on fire." Damon's eyes flashed, not helping. Elena took a step closer. "Where did you see Katherine?" Damon's answer came too quick. The grill. Caroline's mouth opened. You took Katherine to the grill. Damon's lips tightened like he wanted to argue but did not have the energy. Stefan's voice went flat. Why? Damon stared at the floor for a beat. Then he looked up and his eyes were dark. I don't know, he said. That was the first time Damon Salvatore had admitted not knowing something without turning it into a joke. And Elena hated how scared it made her. Mystic Falls High smelled like textbooks and cheap perfume, and the kind of drama that felt small until it wasn't. Elena walked down the hallway with Caroline beside her, trying to breathe like she didn't hear every whisper, every shift, every little laugh that seemed to pause when she passed. Caroline's jaw was clenched. I will kill them. Elena's voice stayed quiet. Caroline. Caroline's eyes flashed. They are acting like this is a normal breakup, like you didn't die and come back and turn into a vampire and save this town more times than they deserve. Elena forced a small smile. That's kind of the point. They don't know. Caroline stopped near Elena's locker and lowered her voice. Okay, but they know enough to be cruel. Elena leaned her forehead against the locker for a moment. The metal felt cold. This is stupid, Elena murmured. I shouldn't care. Caroline softened, just slightly. You care because it's Damon. Because Katherine is the one person who can turn your life into a mirror you don't want to look at. Elena's stomach tightened at the word mirror. Caroline said it like she knew exactly where Elena's thoughts went when she heard Katherine's name. Elena closed her eyes. Do you think he chose her? Caroline's expression shifted. No, Damon doesn't choose Katherine. Katherine chooses Damon. And Damon pretends it was his idea. Elena swallowed. That's not comforting. Caroline's voice sharpened again. It's not supposed to be comforting. It's supposed to be accurate. A group of girls walked past, glancing at Elena like she was an event. Elena ignored them. Caroline's phone buzzed. She checked it and her face tightened. It's Stefan, she said. He wants us at the house. Elena's heart kicked. Now. Caroline nodded. Now. Elena looked down the hallway one more time. The high school felt so normal it made her angry. Then she turned and followed Caroline out, leaving the rumours behind like they were too small to be worth her blood. The Mystic Grill had always been the town's safe space for pretending. Pretending the world was not haunted, pretending people did not disappear, pretending the Salvatore brothers were just two weird rich guys with too much hair gel. Matt wiped down the bar with the same tired determination he always wore when he was trying to keep life from falling apart. When Elena walked in, he straightened automatically, concern turning his face softer. Hey, Matt said carefully. Are you okay? Elena forced a smile. I'm fine. Matt sighed. You're doing the Damon thing. Caroline shot him a look. We don't say that. Matt held up his hands. Sorry, bad timing. Elena glanced around the grill. The place looked normal. That made it worse. She could almost see it. Damon sitting at the bar with that lazy posture like he owned the room, Katherine beside him with Elena's face and none of Elena's guilt. Caroline leaned closer. This is where you were seen. Alone, looking upset. Elena's mouth tightened. I came here because I needed air. Matt's eyes flicked between them. Wait, are we actually talking about this rumour? Caroline's voice turned sharp. Yes, because Katherine is back. Matt's face drained. Of course she is. He looked at Elena. Did Damon? Elena cut him off, voice too firm. I don't know. Matt hesitated. Do you want to know? Elena stared at the bar. Her reflection in the polished surface looked like a stranger. Yes, she said quietly. I want to know. A door creaked behind them. Elena's body went tense before she even turned. The scent hit her first. Familiar, expensive, wrong. Katherine Pierce walked in like she was stepping onto a runway. She wore a dark jacket, hair perfect, eyes bright with amusement. She looked exactly like Elena and nothing like Elena at the same time. Katherine's gaze landed on Elena and her smile widened. Well, Katherine said lightly, This is awkward. Caroline moved in front of Elena instantly. Leave. Katherine pouted. I just got here. Matt's hands tightened on the rag. Katherine, get out of my bar. Katherine glanced at him like she had forgotten he existed. Hi, Matt. Still alive. How inspiring. Elena stepped around Caroline, voice steady. Where is Damon? Katherine's smile sharpened. Oh, she said. You didn't know? Elena's eyes narrowed. Know what? Katherine stepped closer, stopping just outside Elena's personal space like she respected boundaries only to weaponize them. He came to me, Katherine said. Not the other way around. Caroline's voice snapped. Liar. Katherine tilted her head. Am I? Elena's jaw clenched. Why would he come to you? Katherine's eyes flicked over Elena's face, reading every insecurity like it was written in neon. Because you're exhausting, Katherine said softly. And he's tired. Elena's chest tightened. Caroline lunged forward, but Elena held her back with one hand, not looking away from Katherine. Elena, Matt said quietly, don't. Elena did not answer him. She stared at Katherine and forced her voice to stay calm. If Damon chose you, Elena said, it's because you're manipulating him. Katherine laughed, light and cruel. That's adorable. You still think Damon is something you can keep. Elena's eyes flashed. Where is he? Katherine's smile stayed in place, but her eyes darkened slightly. At home, she said, where he belongs. Then she leaned in, close enough that only Elena could hear. He doesn't want you looking at him like he's a project, Katherine whispered. He wants you looking at him like you need him. Elena's fingers curled at her sides. Katherine pulled back, satisfied. Oh, she added, voice louder again. Tell Stefan I said hi. He'll love that. Then Katherine walked out like she had just dropped a match into gasoline and didn't even need to watch it burn. Caroline stared after her, shaking with rage. I swear to God. Matt looked at Elena, worried. Elena. Elena's voice came out quiet. I'm going to the house. Caroline grabbed her arm. Elena, we don't go alone. New rule. Elena's eyes hardened. Then come with me. Caroline didn't hesitate. They left the grill behind, and the town's normal noise felt farther away with every step. Stefan stood in the living room with Rick, both of them looking like they had been researching for hours. Books were open on the table, old pages, hunter notes, witch symbols scribbled in margins. Bonnie was there too, leaning against the wall with her arms crossed, face pale and focused like she was trying to hold a migraine together by force. When Elena and Caroline walked in, the air shifted again, heavy with unspoken tension. Stefan looked at Elena immediately. Katherine. Elena's eyes narrowed. You know. Stefan nodded once. She came earlier. Caroline's voice snapped. Where is Damon? Stefan's jaw clenched. Upstairs. Elena's heart twisted. He's here. Rick stepped forward, voice calm but urgent. He's not himself. Elena froze. What does that mean? Bonnie's expression tightened. It means something is off. I can feel it. Not compulsion. Not a spell I recognize. More like a tilt. Caroline frowned. A tilt. Bonnie nodded, like his instincts got pushed. Like someone took Damon's worst impulses and turned the volume up. Elena stared at the stairs. Katherine did something. Stefan's voice went low. We're trying to find out what. Rick tapped a page with his finger. There are hunter records about relics that can mess with vampire bonds. Not exactly mind control, but influence. A nudge that feels like you. Caroline's mouth tightened. That is so Katherine. Elena's voice came out tight. I'm going up there. Stefan moved instantly. Elena, wait. Elena looked at him. I'm not asking. Bonnie pushed off the wall. If he's influenced, you confronting him alone could make it worse. Elena's eyes flashed. Then come with me. Stefan nodded. Rick followed. Bonnie hesitated, then came to. Caroline took a breath and followed last, like she was bracing for impact. They climbed the stairs. Each step felt louder than it should have. Damon's bedroom door was half open. Elena pushed it fully and stepped in. Damon stood near the window, looking down at the yard like he was bored by the world. His posture was casual. His expression was not. Katherine was in the room. She sat on the edge of Damon's bed like she belonged there, legs crossed, smile relaxed, eyes bright with amusement. Elena's stomach dropped. Stefan's voice went cold. "Get out." Katherine looked at him and smiled wider. "Hi, Stefan." Caroline's voice snapped. "Seriously, leave." Katherine held up her hands like she was innocent. "I'm not doing anything. Damon invited me." Elena looked at Damon. "Did you?" Damon turned slowly. His eyes landed on Elena, and for a second Elena thought she saw regret. Then the regret vanished, replaced by something colder, flatter. "I did," Damon said. Elena's throat tightened. "Why?" Damon's mouth twitched. "Because I wanted to." Stefan took a step forward. "Damon." Damon didn't look at him. He looked at Elena like she was a problem he had already solved. "You wanted honesty," Damon said. "Here it is. I'm tired." Elena's eyes flashed. Of what? Damon's voice was sharp. "Of being your project, of being your moral test, of you looking at me like you're waiting for me to fail." Elena stared at him, hurt burning behind her eyes. "That's not fair." Damon shrugged slightly. "Neither is being loved like I'm a risk assessment." Katherine's smile softened, pleased. She leaned forward, voice gentle like she was offering comfort. "She doesn't know how to love you without trying to fix you," Katherine murmured. Elena's eyes snapped to Katherine. "Stop talking." Katherine tilted her head. "I'm just saying what he already knows." Bonnie stepped into the doorway, eyes narrowed. "Damon, look at me." Damon's gaze flicked to Bonnie. His expression tightened for half a second, like something inside him resisted her. Bonnie's voice stayed firm. "Something is influencing you." Damon laughed, too fast. "Oh, here we go. The Bennett witch diagnosis." Bonnie's eyes glowed faintly. Not dramatic, just enough to show she was reaching. "This isn't you." Damon's jaw clenched. "Yes, it is." Elena stepped closer. "Damon, if this is about me being a vampire now, if it's about me changing, then say that. Don't hide behind Katherine." Katherine's eyes sparkled. "She thinks it's about her. That's cute." Caroline's voice cut through the room. "It is about her. Because you're here." Katherine stood slowly, smoothing her jacket, expression calm. She walked toward Elena and stopped just short. Then she did something small and vicious. She smiled the way Elena smiled when she was trying to reassure Damon. Soft, warm, almost tender. It looked wrong on Katherine's face. "You don't have to fight so hard," Katherine said in a voice that almost matched Elena's. "You can let him go." Elena's blood ran cold. Katherine wasn't just taunting. She was copying, mirroring. She was stealing Elena's tone, Elena's softness, Elena's place. Elena's voice came out sharp. "Don't." Katherine's smile widened. "Don't what?" "Be you." Elena's hands clenched. "Stop using my face." Katherine's eyes flashed. "It's my face too. Or did you forget?" Damon watched them, expression unreadable. Elena turned back to him, voice shaking with anger and hurt. "Tell her to leave." Damon's gaze held Elena's. Then he looked at Katherine. And he didn't tell her to leave. Elena's chest tightened like something snapped. Stefan's voice went low and dangerous. "Damon, this ends now." Damon finally looked at Stefan. "No, it ends when I say it ends." Rick's voice cut in, firm. "Damon, we're not here to fight you. We're here to stop Katherine from messing with your head." Katherine's brows lifted. "My head. His head. Who can tell? Damon's always been easy. You just have to press the right buttons." Elena's eyes flashed. "Damon is not easy." Katherine smiled. "He's predictable." Bonnie stepped forward, eyes narrowed. "Katherine, if you used a relic, I can find it." Katherine's smile didn't move. "Good luck." Then she turned toward Damon, and her voice softened, intimate, like she was speaking only to him. "You don't have to keep pretending you're the villain in her story," Katherine said. "You can be the hero in mine." Elena's stomach twisted. Damon's expression flickered, just a fraction. Katherine reached up and brushed her fingers over Damon's jaw, slow and deliberate. Damon didn't pull away. Elena felt the sting like it was physical. Katherine's voice stayed low. "Come with me." Damon looked at Elena. His eyes were dark. His face was calm. "I'm going," he said. Elena's voice cracked. "Damon." He didn't answer. He moved past her, past Stefan, toward the hallway. Katherine followed, glancing back at Elena with a smile that felt like a knife. Elena stood frozen for a second. Then she moved. Elena caught Damon at the top of the stairs, grabbing his arm. He stopped, slowly turning his head like her touch annoyed him. "Elena," he said, voice flat. Her eyes burned. "You're not doing this." Damon's gaze stayed on her. "I am." Elena swallowed hard. "Why?" Damon's jaw clenched. "Because she doesn't look at me like I'm a problem." Elena stared at him. "You think Katherine looks at you like anything but a toy?" Damon's mouth tightened. "At least she's honest about what she wants." Elena's throat tightened. "And what do you want?" Damon's eyes flickered, something deep and conflicted trying to surface. Before he could answer, Katherine appeared beside him, stepping into Elena's space like she owned it. "You heard him," Katherine said lightly. "He wants out." Elena's eyes flashed. "This is not real." Katherine's smile sharpened. "It's real enough." Stefan stepped into the hallway, voice tight. "Damon, don't leave with her." Damon looked at Stefan. The Brotherhood was there in the tension, in the shared history, in the way Stefan's face betrayed fear he tried to hide. Damon hesitated, just a second. Bonnie saw it. She stepped closer, voice calm but urgent. "Damon, fight it." Damon's brows drew together. "Fight what?" Bonnie's eyes narrowed. "The influence. The tilt. Something is pushing you toward the choice that hurts the most." Damon's mouth twisted. "Or maybe I'm just tired of being everyone's punching bag." Caroline's voice came sharp from behind them. "You are not a punching bag. You are Damon Salvatore. You punch people." Damon's lips twitched. Almost a smile. Then Katherine leaned in, whispering into Damon's ear. Elena couldn't hear the words, but she saw Damon's expression change. The hesitation vanished. He pulled his arm free from Elena's grip. "I'm done," Damon said. Elena's voice went small. "Damon, please." He froze at that word. "Please." It hit something human in him. Katherine noticed too. Her eyes narrowed slightly. She stepped in front of Damon, blocking Elena's gaze. "Come on," Katherine said, voice sweet. "Let's go." Damon followed. Elena stood still, shaking, anger and heartbreak fighting for control. Stefan's voice went low. "Elena." Elena's eyes hardened. "We're not letting her take him." Bonnie nodded once. "Then we find what she used." Rick exhaled. "And we do it fast. Because if Damon's bond is tilting, it could lock." Caroline's face tightened. "Lock." Bonnie nodded. "Not forever, but long enough to do damage." Elena swallowed. "Then we stop it now." Katherine walked with Damon like they were a couple stepping out for a casual night. Damon's posture stayed loose, but his eyes were too sharp, scanning the shadows like he expected something to jump out. Katherine noticed and smiled. "You're still paranoid," she murmured. Damon's voice stayed dry. "I call it survival." Katherine's eyes glittered. "I missed this." Damon glanced at her. "You missed controlling people." Katherine laughed softly. "You say that like it's an insult." They passed the town square where holiday lights still hung half-finished from some council plan nobody cared about. Normal people moved around them, laughing, holding coffee, living their small lives unaware of the monsters walking beside them. Katherine watched them like she envied them and hated them at the same time. "You see that," she said softly. "Normal. That's what she wants. And you will never be normal." Damon's jaw clenched. "I'm not trying to be normal." Katherine leaned closer. "Then stop pretending you want her approval." Damon didn't answer. Katherine smiled. "Come on, I have a place." Damon's eyes narrowed. "What place?" Katherine's smile turned wicked. "A safe house. A little secret I kept from Klaus when he was throwing his tantrums. Damon's brows lifted slightly. You're name-dropping Klaus now. Katherine's eyes flashed with satisfaction. It gets your attention. Damon's mouth tightened. Klaus isn't here. Katherine's voice softened. Not tonight. She tilted her head. But he's always somewhere, isn't he? That's the thing about the originals. You don't need them in the room to feel them. Damon stared at her. What are you doing, Katherine? Katherine's smile didn't falter. Taking what I want. She stepped closer, fingers brushing Damon's sleeve. And right now, I want you. Damon's eyes hardened. That's not new. Katherine's gaze held his. Intense. No. But this time, you're letting me. Damon's throat tightened. He looked away like he hated himself for it. Katherine smiled and led him off the main street toward a side road lined with trees. The old boarding house had been abandoned for years. It sat at the edge of town like a forgotten memory, windows dark, porch sagging. Katherine pushed the door open like she had been waiting for this moment. Damon stepped inside and the smell hit him first. Dust. Old wood. Faint traces of blood that didn't belong in any normal house. He stopped. What is this? He asked. Katherine turned, eyes bright. Insurance. Damon's voice went flat. Explain. Katherine walked deeper into the room, pulling back a loose floorboard with a practiced ease that made it clear she had done this before. Underneath was a small box. Old. Metal. Etched with symbols that made Damon's skin itch. Katherine lifted it like it was jewellery. This, she said softly, is why you feel so willing. Damon's eyes narrowed. You did this. Katherine smiled. I nudged. You followed. Damon's jaw clenched. What is it? Katherine's fingers traced the symbols. Hunter work. They liked to pretend they were righteous, but they were just as obsessed. They made little toys. This one shifts bonds. It makes you want what you already want. Damon's voice came rough. I don't want you. Katherine's smile sharpened. Liar. Damon stepped forward, anger rising. Take it off. Now. Katherine laughed. You can't take off what's already inside your head. Then she stepped closer, expression suddenly soft in a way that was almost convincing. You don't have to hate this, she murmured. You can stop fighting. You can stop pretending you're better than what you are. Damon's eyes flickered. His breath caught. The influence pulled at him like gravity. Katherine reached up and touched his face. For a second, Damon let it happen. The moment was intimate, close, almost romantic. Then Katherine kissed him. It wasn't gentle, it was claiming. It was a reminder of old nights and old hunger. Damon's hand tightened on her waist instinctively. And Elena's face flashed in his mind like a wound. Damon pulled back hard, breathing rough. Katherine's smile stayed in place. There he is. Damon wiped his mouth with the back of his hand like he hated himself. That's not love, he said hoarsely. That's manipulation. Katherine's eyes flashed. What's the difference? Damon's voice went cold. I'm leaving. Katherine stepped in front of him, blocking his path, calm again. You're not going anywhere, she said. Not until I get what I came for. Damon froze. There it is. Katherine's smile sharpened. You thought this was about romance. Damon, please, I don't do romance, I do leverage. Damon's eyes narrowed. What do you want? Katherine lifted the box slightly. Access. The Salvatore house. The tunnels. The little secrets hidden under Mystic Falls. Damon's jaw clenched. Why? Katherine's voice lowered. Because something is coming, and I don't intend to be the one caught without an exit. Damon stared at her. What something? Katherine's eyes glittered with fear she tried to hide. An old debt, she murmured. The kind that never dies. Damon's voice went tight. Who? Katherine smiled like she refused to say it out loud. Then the floor creaked behind them. Katherine's head snapped toward the sound. Damon's eyes narrowed. They weren't alone anymore. The shadows in the corner shifted. A A figure stepped out, slow and calm, like he had been there for a while. Stefan, then Caroline, then Rick, then Bonnie. Elena stepped in last, eyes burning, face controlled by sheer force. Katherine's smile returned immediately, as if being caught was part of the fun. "Elena," she said sweetly, "you followed me. How flattering." Elena's voice came out steady. "What did you do to him?" Katherine lifted the box slightly. A little nudge, a little reminder. Damon doesn't need you. He needs someone who accepts what he is. Elena's eyes flashed. "You don't accept him. You use him." Katherine shrugged. "And you don't use him. You just expect him to become someone else." Damon's jaw clenched. He stared at the box like it disgusted him. Bonnie stepped forward, eyes narrowed. "That relic. Give it to me." Katherine's smile sharpened. "No." Bonnie's voice turned colder. "Katherine, I can break it." Katherine's eyes glinted. "Try." Rick held up a page of hunter notes, voice firm. "The relic needs proximity. It works by resonance. Damon being near it strengthens the pull." Katherine tilted her head. "Ah, homework." Stefan's voice went low. "Damon, come here." Damon hesitated. Elena's heart twisted at the hesitation. Then, Damon took one slow step towards Stefan. Katherine's eyes narrowed. She held the box out slightly like she could tug Damon back with it. "You don't want them," Katherine murmured, voice soft. "You want me." Damon's face tightened. Bonnie moved fast, hands glowing faintly, reaching for the box. Katherine jerked it back. "Don't," Katherine warned. Bonnie's voice stayed calm. "You're scared." Katherine's smile widened. "I'm prepared." Elena stepped closer to Damon, voice quiet. "Fight it." Damon looked at her. His eyes were dark, conflicted, and Elena could see it, the influence pulling, the bond tilting toward the easiest pain. "It feels like me," Damon admitted, voice rough. "That's the problem. It feels like I'm choosing." Elena swallowed hard. "You are choosing. Right now." Damon's jaw clenched. He took another step away from Katherine. Katherine's expression tightened for the first time. "No." Stefan moved, vamp speed flashing him behind Katherine. He grabbed her wrist, twisting it hard. Katherine hissed, "Stefan." Stefan's voice was cold. "Give it to Bonnie." Katherine tried to shift away. Caroline slammed into her from the side, pinning her against the wall. "Hi," Caroline said sharply. "Remember me, the girl you keep underestimating." Katherine's eyes flashed. "Get off me." Caroline's smile was vicious. "No." Rick stepped in, holding out a small pouch. Vervain. He tossed it to Bonnie. Bonnie caught it and scattered it in a quick circle on the floor. Katherine laughed. "You think vervain stops a relic?" Bonnie's eyes glowed faintly. "No, I think it stops you." Bonnie placed her hand on the floor and whispered. The circle flared faintly, not a dramatic blast, just a steady pulse. Katherine's movement stuttered like she hit a wall. Elena watched the relic, heart pounding. "Bonnie, can you break it?" Bonnie's voice was tight with effort. "I can disrupt it, but if it's bonded to Damon already, I have to pull it off him carefully." Damon's jaw clenched. "Just do it." Katherine's voice turned sharp. "Don't. If you break it, the pull snaps back and it hurts." Elena's eyes narrowed. "You care about him." Katherine smiled without warmth. "I care about my leverage not bleeding out." Bonnie stepped toward Damon, voice firm. "Hold still." Damon lifted his hands slightly, trying to look calm. He wasn't. Bonnie placed her fingers against Damon's wrist. The air around them tightened. Damon flinched as a cold pressure surged through him, like something being peeled from the inside. He gritted his teeth. "Okay. Hate that." Bonnie's eyes narrowed in concentration. "Damon," she said, voice low. "Think about Elena. Think about what you actually want." Damon's breath caught. His gaze locked on Elena's face. For a second, the influence fought back. Damon's expression twisted, like he was being pulled between two versions of himself. Elena stepped closer, voice steady. "Come back." Damon swallowed hard. "I'm trying." Bonnie whispered again, harsher this time, as if she was cutting thread with words. The relic box in Katherine's hand pulsed. Katherine's eyes widened. She tried to pull away, but Caroline held her tight. "Don't break it," Katherine snapped, voice suddenly panicked. "You don't know what else it's tied to." Bonnie's face tightened. "What else?" Katherine's smile vanished. "Nothing." Bonnie stared at her. "That's a lie." Katherine's eyes flashed. "Fine, it's tied to a map. A ledger. Something Hunter's left behind. Something that points to safe paths through the tunnels." Rick's voice sharpened. "The tunnels under the town." Katherine nodded, breathing hard. "Exactly. I need them." Stefan's eyes narrowed. "Why?" Katherine's voice went cold. "Because something is hunting old debts, and I'm not interested in being found." Damon's eyes narrowed. "You're running from someone." Katherine's smile returned, thin and sharp. "I'm always running." Bonnie's hands tightened on Damon's wrist. The pressure surged one last time. Then it snapped. Damon staggered slightly, breath rough, like he had just been yanked out of a cold river. He blinked and his eyes cleared. He looked at Katherine. Then he looked at Elena, and the guilt hit him like a punch. "Elena," he said quietly. Elena stared at him, eyes shining, face controlled. Was it real? Damon swallowed. It felt real. Elena's throat tightened. "That's not an answer." Damon's voice turned raw. "I kissed her." Silence. Caroline's grip on Katherine tightened like she wanted to snap her neck. Stefan's face went hard. Elena didn't move. Her voice came quiet. "Why?" Damon stared at the floor, ashamed and angry at himself. "Because she knows what buttons to press," he said. "And because for a second I wanted to stop fighting." Elena's eyes burned. "Stop fighting who?" "Me." Damon looked up, expression conflicted. "The version of me you're scared I am." Elena's jaw clenched. Katherine laughed softly, delighted. "Oh, this is so much better than I hoped." Caroline snarled. "Shut up!" Katherine smirked. "Make me." Damon stepped forward. His voice went cold. "You don't get to stand here and watch this like it's entertainment." Katherine's gaze held his. "You chose me." Damon's eyes flashed. "No. You tilted me. There's a difference." Katherine's smile sharpened. "Keep telling yourself that." Damon's expression tightened. He stepped closer. Stefan's voice cut in, firm. "Damon, focus." Damon forced himself to breathe. He looked at Bonnie. "Can you destroy it?" Bonnie nodded, still tense. "Yes. But she's right about one thing. If it's tied to something else, destroying it could trigger a backlash." Rick's eyes narrowed. "Like what?" Bonnie's face tightened. A locator, a beacon, a signal. Elena's stomach dropped. A signal to who? Katherine's smile vanished completely. "I told you," she said quietly. "You don't know what you're pulling on." The air shifted. The room cooled. Bonnie's eyes widened. "Oh no." Stefan stiffened. "What?" Bonnie swallowed hard. Something just felt that. Katherine's eyes flicked to the window, fear flashing in her gaze for the first time that night. "It found the thread," she whispered. Damon's jaw clenched. "What found it?" Katherine didn't answer, because outside, somewhere in the dark, a sound echoed. Not a scream, not a growl, a low vibration, like the world itself warning them. And then, the lights flickered. Bonnie's voice went sharp. "Everyone move. Now." Damon didn't hesitate. He grabbed Elena's wrist and pulled her away from the centre of the room. Elena let him. That hurt in a different way. Rick stepped toward the door, scanning outside. Stefan's eyes stayed on Katherine, who is coming. Katherine's voice came tight. "Someone who doesn't forgive." Caroline's eyes flashed. "Name." Katherine's gaze flicked to Damon. "It's not Klaus." Damon's expression hardened. "Then who?" Katherine swallowed. "A hunter line, one that never stopped." Rick's face tightened. "That doesn't narrow it down." Bonnie's eyes narrowed. "It's not human, not fully. It feels like something bound to blood." Damon's jaw clenched. "A hunter-made thing." Bonnie nodded. "Something that follows artifacts." Stefan moved to the window and looked out. The yard was dark. Too dark. There, Stefan said. A figure stood at the edge of the trees. Still. Watching. Not moving like a person. Not breathing like a person. Damon's stomach tightened. He recognized that kind of stillness. The kind that belonged to something that didn't need to rush, because it always caught its prey eventually. Katherine's voice came quiet. That's why I needed the tunnels. Rick's eyes narrowed. You led it here. Katherine's expression flashed with anger. No. The relic did. I didn't know it would follow the resonance this fast. Caroline hissed. You're unbelievable. Katherine's gaze held hers. I'm alive. Bonnie's voice turned urgent. We need to cut the signal. Destroy the relic now. If we keep it intact, it will keep tracking. Elena's eyes widened. Destroy it. Bonnie nodded. Yes. Damon looked at the box in Katherine's hand. Katherine pulled it closer like she couldn't let go. If you destroy it, I lose my only map. Damon's voice went cold. That sounds like your problem. Katherine's eyes flashed Damon. Damon took one step toward her. You used me. Katherine's voice softened quickly, trying to pull the old dynamic back into place. I did what I had to. Damon's smile was sharp. So am I. He yanked the box from her hand. Katherine lunged. Caroline held her back. Bonnie stepped forward, hands glowing, eyes focused. Hold it, Bonnie ordered. Damon held the box out. Bonnie placed her palms on it and whispered. The symbols flared. The air tightened. Outside, the figure shifted slightly as if it felt the change. Bonnie's voice strained. It's tied to a tracker rune. It's feeding off Damon's blood imprint. Damon's jaw clenched. Then burn it. Bonnie's eyes flashed. If I break it, the backlash could hit Damon again. Damon didn't hesitate. Do it anyway. Elena's throat tightened. She looked at Damon, heart in pieces. Bonnie's voice was harsh. Damon, think about what you're doing. Damon's gaze held Elena's for a brief second. Then he looked back at Bonnie. I'm thinking clearly now. That's why I'm doing it. Bonnie swallowed. Then she spoke the final words. The box cracked, not physically first, spiritually. The symbols shattered like glass. A shockwave ripped through the room. Damon staggered, dropping to one knee, jaw clenched, veins pulsing for a second. Elena grabbed him instantly. Damon. He gritted out, I'm fine. Elena's voice was tight. Stop saying that. Bonnie stumbled back, nose bleeding again. The room went still. Outside, the figure froze. Then it turned away, fading into the dark like it had lost the scent. Bonnie exhaled, shaky. It's gone. Rick's voice was grim. For now. Katherine stared at the broken relic like she had just watched her last safety net burn. You idiots, she whispered. Stefan's eyes narrowed. What now? Katherine's gaze flicked to Damon, then to Elena, cold and calculating again as she forced control back into her face. Now Katherine said softly, I find another way out. Damon stood slowly, pain still in his posture. He stepped toward Katherine. You're leaving. Katherine smiled faintly. Try to stop me. Stefan's voice went low. We can. Katherine's eyes glinted. You won't, because you're still you, Stefan. You still hesitate. You still think you're better. Caroline's voice snapped. No one here thinks that. Katherine's smile widened. Oh, they do, especially Elena. Elena's jaw clenched. Leave. Katherine tilted her head, gladly. She stepped closer to Elena, voice soft and cruel, like she was giving advice. You should be careful, Katherine whispered. You think Damon choosing you means he won't choose my shadow again. But you'll always wonder, and wondering will rot you. Elena's eyes burned. Get out. Katherine smiled. Then she vanished. Just like that, she was gone. The room felt emptier and heavier at the same time. The ride back was silent. When they returned to the Salvatore house, the living room felt like a courtroom. Bonnie sat on the couch with a tissue pressed under her nose. Rick stood by the table, eyes still scanning his notes like he could find a fix for emotional damage in Hunter handwriting. Caroline paced like she wanted to scream. Stefan stood near the fireplace, face controlled. eyes tired. Elena stood near the staircase. Damon stood across from her. They didn't touch. Elena's voice came quiet. "So that's it." Damon's brows tightened. "What's it?" Elena swallowed hard. "You kissed her." Damon's jaw clenched. "Elena, it wasn't." Elena cut him off. Don't do that thing where you turn it into a technicality." Damon's voice turned rough. It was influence. Elena's eyes flashed. "And you still did it." Silence. Damon's face tightened like he had been punched. Stefan's voice cut in, calm. "Elena," he wasn't fully himself. Elena didn't look at Stefan. Her eyes stayed on Damon. "I don't care," Elena whispered. That was the most dangerous thing Elena Gilbert could say. Damon's throat bobbed. He took a slow step forward, careful like he was approaching a wild animal. "I didn't choose her," he said. "Not really." Elena's eyes burned. "But you wanted to." Damon froze. "Because she was too close to the truth." Damon's voice came quiet. "For a second I wanted to stop fighting. I wanted to stop feeling like every good thing I do is temporary." Elena swallowed hard. "And Katherine made that feel easy." Damon's jaw clenched. "Yes." Elena's chest tightened. "So what happens the next time you feel tired? The next time I disappoint you? The next time Katherine shows up?" Damon's voice went tight. "I'll fight it." Elena shook her head slowly. "That's not enough." Damon's eyes darkened. "What do you want from me?" Elena's voice cracked slightly. "I want to feel like I'm not replaceable." Silence hit hard. Caroline stopped pacing. Bonnie looked down. Stefan's expression tightened because he knew what Damon's silence meant. Damon stared at Elena like he wanted to say the right thing and didn't trust himself to find it. Finally, his voice came quiet. "You're not replaceable." Elena's eyes narrowed. "Then why did it happen?" Damon swallowed. "Because she knows how to be the worst version of what you fear." Elena's throat tightened. "And you let her?" Damon's jaw clenched. "Yes." The honesty hurt more than excuses would have. Elena nodded once, slow. Then she took a step back. Damon's eyes widened slightly. "Elena." Elena's voice came soft. "I need space." Damon's face tightened. "Don't do this." Elena looked at him, eyes bright but controlled. "I'm not breaking up with you like a human. I'm telling you the truth. I can't stand here tonight and pretend that didn't cut me open." Damon's voice went low and raw. "I hate myself for it." Elena's eyes softened just a fraction. "Then prove it changes something." Damon took a step forward again, desperate now. Elena raised a hand gently. "Not tonight." She turned and walked up the stairs. Damon stood frozen, watching her go like he had just lost the one thing he didn't know how to survive without. Stefan stepped closer, voice low. "Damon." Damon didn't look at him. "Don't." Stefan's voice stayed calm. "She'll come back." Damon laughed once, bitter. "You don't know that." Stefan's expression tightened. "I know, Elena." Damon's voice came rough. "You know her. I broke her." Silence. Caroline exhaled slowly, trying to put herself back together. Katherine got what she wanted. She didn't want you, Damon. She wanted damage. Bonnie nodded, voice tired, and she wanted the tunnels. Rick's eyes narrowed, which means she's planning to move through Mystic Falls like she owns it. Damon's jaw clenched. Let her try. He stared at the stairs again, anger and guilt battling in his chest. Then he turned toward the decanter. He poured a glass of bourbon. He stared at it. And he didn't drink. Stefan watched him quietly, not judging, just there. Damon's voice came low. Katherine said something was hunting old debts. Rick's expression tightened. That part bothered me too. Bonnie wiped at her nose. The relic had a tracker rune tied to blood resonance. Someone made that. Someone knew Katherine would steal it. Caroline's eyes narrowed. So this wasn't just Katherine being Katherine. This was her running. Rick nodded slowly. And Katherine doesn't run unless the thing chasing her is worse than she is. Stefan's jaw clenched. We stopped the tracker. But whatever it was, it existed. Bonnie's voice was quiet. and it will try to find the relic again. Damon's smile returned, thin and dangerous. Let it. He looked up the stairs one more time, eyes darker than usual. Then he spoke quietly, like the words were for himself more than anyone else. I chose Elena, he said. Even when it tried to twist me, I chose her. Stefan's voice stayed low. Then keep choosing her. Damon nodded once, and somewhere out in Mystic Falls, the night settled back into place. Not peaceful, just quiet. The kind of quiet that promised the next problem was already on its way,